Mm. Okay. Good morning. I'm saying good morning because at the time of recording this, it's morning. I'm feeling pretty good. I've had a few last days. Um, I just uploaded the creep video about my friend who turned out to be weird, and then right now I have my first rant that I did being uploaded right now, and I think that video is good. I think that that video is really good. I think it's providing a lot of commentary that I think people would like to listen to. You know, when I was recording it, I found myself listening to myself rant, and I just was enjoying that. So, yeah. So I've wanted to do a video on LARPing for a little bit. I think that my Instagram tag on my alt right now is Andrew, the King of LARP. So, you know, a lot of people don't know what I mean when I say that, but I'm LARPing as a normie. And what I mean by that is whenever I'm in school, I was LARPing as a normie because, um, like I said, starting to do like theater in school pretty much like made it to where I was around like normies a lot, like high tier normies a lot. Um, so you know, but then obviously I was different. So basically I've had to pretend to be normie a lot of the time, and it kind of sucks because you know I feel like a lot of people just don't like being around me. Like for instance, like I'm pretty sure my dad doesn't like being around me. Me and my dad fight quite a bit. That might have been easy to gather from some of my other videos. So, whenever I'm talking about, oh, it's been a good day, I mean, me and him haven't, collided in a little bit. So, but part of that is, obviously my dad's upset at me because, I can't get a job and, I'm a loser, which, is whatever, part of being a chud is just kind of accepting the fact that you're a chud, and doing things in spite of that. So yeah, I mean, like for instance, like on 4th of July, my grandpa came over and he basically was playing chess with me. I won, which, was a good match. And, he was talking to my dad and he was like, hey, how come you don't ever play chess with, Andrew? And he's, my dad's kind of speechless. He's like, oh, well, the obvious answer is, my dad doesn't want to spend time with me. Not because he's neglectful, not because I have bad parents. Growing up my whole life, I never went to bed hungry. I always had everything I needed and more, you know. I was always taken care of. It's just my dad just, I don't know, somewhere along the road, he just, started to like my sister more than me. And there's a certain pain that comes with never being anybody's first choice that I feel like I've kind of experienced my entire life. Like, for instance, like I was at the mall a little bit with my friend, who we're going to call Tyler. Actually, have I already used the name Tyler for a different person? Um, well, it doesn't matter what their name is. But basically, like, I went to the mall with them, and there was this other girl who they were friends with, and that person had, basically stopped hanging out with them and, started, hanging out with their two other friends. And, they were telling me about that, and I was listening. And while we're at the mall, we see them, we see the other friend, and the friend that I'm with immediately starts, they're just like, let's just wait around. We just go to the center of the mall, and, they don't want to do anything anymore. They're tired of all this, they're, yada, 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 doing whatever. So, that was kind of my first, that was whenever I was like, ah, shit. They, instead of being happy that I was there with them in the moment, they were upset that this other person wasn't there with them, because, what happened to me? Who cares about me, right? Which sucks, right? And I don't, like, they weren't rude about it. And, so I can't get mad at them for that. They weren't resentful or anything. And, you really can't control the way that you feel about people. If you don't want to be around someone, then, you can't make yourself feel a certain way towards them. So I'm not upset with them or anything. If anything, I was just more so upset that, despite their best attempt to hide it, I could see that it's whatever. Like, it just kind of sucks. There's my aunt, my great aunt, who's pretty wealthy. She had a high paying career in her younger years, and now she's just kind of whatever. My whole family kind of doesn't like her because whenever my great grandparents died, she went all crazy and tried to lawyer up and try and take on the executor of the will, which didn't work. So things didn't go well, and it just didn't work out very well. They support my Warhammer hobby though. Like, they'll get me Warhammer sets. They just got me Company Heroes, so I've been painting Company Heroes, for the past week or so. I typically do, like, for standard Space Marine, like maybe 1.5 days to paint one. And then, for a more detailed Space Marine, like a Tech Marine or, a Sergeant or something else, usually about 2 days, 3 days. I just did the Company Champion and then, a Veteran, and those both took me 3 days each. Not because, I'm spending a whole 3 days doing it, just because I'm kind of doing it little by little throughout the day, whenever I want to. Not rushing, enjoying the process. But, I mean, yeah. That's kind of it for 40K for now. But, I mean, like, yeah, I just agree with her, high key. I found that sometimes being agreeable is just kind of the best way to go about things. Because, I don't know, we disagree politically. She's a hardcore Republican, and I'm a lot more left-leaning, My whole family isn't, it's just a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, my dad don't want to be around me. Obviously, my dad still loves me, but, just, when it came down to spending time with me, he just wanted to do something else. And it's kind of like the thing with my friend. I mean, it's like, I can't make you want to do things with me. It's, if you don't want to, then you don't want to, I guess. I mean, it's okay, though. I'm not resentful for it. Because, maybe it's like, whenever your little cousin, wants to play on your game and, you're like, no, you don't, like, no. It's not that I don't love you. It's just I don't want to do that with you. So, yeah. Or maybe this is just me coping. Probably a lot of copium. It just kind of feels like any time in my life that I feel like somebody loves me, there's always somebody else that person loves more, which sucks. And I wonder if that's jealousy. I don't know if that's jealousy or, if it's just like people just don't want to be around me. Like, I got one homie who's talking about, oh, I'm so lonely. I want to hang out with people. And, I'm like, I live within walking distance with you, man. Come on, let's hang out. And he's like, if you want to hang out with me, just call me. We can play Roblox or something. I don't want to get together in person. And I'm just like, damn. And I told him that too. I was like, damn, man. Because that's kind of rude. You're talking about how you hang out with anybody and you don't want to hang out with me. I mean, what's going on with that? And, he's just like, yeah, man, sorry. But I'm like, oh, well, okay. That sucks, I guess. That sucks a lot, actually. And then this morning, was giving me all this, normie advice. She's like, you're getting to the age where, you need to start figuring stuff out. What are your goals? What are your morals in life? And that's like the same normie advice that everyone gives because, normies just like understand, they don't understand that, like, mom was like, what are your morals? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I haven't, like, interacted with enough people to be moral. And I'm definitely not a moral person. Like, I don't think I'm a good person. Like, I don't know if I'll disclose it on the internet, but, like, I've done a lot of morally questionable things. I haven't hurt anybody, but I'm just kind of an asshole. I don't know if you can gather that from my videos. And she's like, you need to get over this victim mentality, this, victim or whatever. And I'm like, I don't, that's easy for you to say, Mom, because my mom's always had friends. My mom's always had romantic partners. Her parents aren't great, but I mean, my mom's always had, my mom hasn't, because, truth be told, my parents aren't very affectionate. Like I said again, I haven't, I never went hungry. I had good parents. I have a pool in my backyard. My parents have high paying jobs. Like, you know, like I don't live a bad life. And my mom's always like, you're always trying to make it out like, your life is all this and your life is so bad and you need to do all this. I'm like, I'm never, claiming to have a bad life. I just like am not happy in my life that I'm currently living, you know? And of course my dad gets all mad about it. He's like, oh, I had more at your age than you have more at your age than I ever had in my entire life. And, I had a friend too tell me the same things like, you have so much, and I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, I guess. I mean, like, but it doesn't beat the fact that I don't have, goals or fulfillment or anything that, is driving me forward. I mean, I'm just kind of here. And I really don't know what kind of line of work is going to, like, give me that, thing, because obviously I'm not going to find fulfillment in, social interactions with other people because, I've been trying to do that for going on 18 years and it hasn't happened yet. I mean, I've had so many that just didn't work out. Like, for instance, like first best friend, it's a whole process. Like, I've had like 7 best friends over my entire life and none of them have worked out. I'm on the 8th best friend right now. It's working out fine, except for the fact that he never responds to me. That son of a bitch, just never responds to me. I'm gonna try and get in touch with him today. But, he always gives me the same normie advice too. Or actually, no, he's always kind of like, see, here's the thing, right? Whenever you don't find like fulfillment in your personal life, you try and compensate by doing other things. That's why like some people take a lot of extracurriculars real seriously because that's all they have, like, he's always like, because I'm like, man, I need to find a job, man, I need to find my job. I can't find a job. And he's like, well, chill, man. We still got 1 year left of school. I think he's younger than me. He's 17. But he's like, we still got 1 year left of school, man. We're chilling, bro. That's not actually how he talks. I'm just making him sound like that to add effect. And he's like, oh, we're just chilling right now. And he's like, you shouldn't have to just do. I'm like, you're in honors, right? You do, all this stuff. You got this great social life. He's got a girlfriend. Always has a girlfriend, right? So, and I'm not saying this because I'm jealous of him. I mean, I'm happy for him. I love bro. Like I said, and I don't know if I published it, but I think in the video I have uploading right now, I mentioned how I carry a picture of me and him around. Like, just because, seeing it makes me happy, right? But what I'm trying to get across with my mom and my best friend is like, normies don't understand how like people who are not normies like think about society. Like, he just doesn't understand, right? It's just really, really, really unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, people just don't want to be around me, and it sucks. I've always been someone who kind of naturally is alone, but like, that kind of like starts to have a negative effect on you because, I would like to be more social. I just don't, right? Oh, but what I was getting into is like, if I can't make social interactions right now, I'm never going to make them. And I don't even know, because I don't even know what college I'm going to go to, if I'm going to do good at college, which probably won't, The only way I can do good at school is if I take 50 milligrams of Vyvanse, and ruin my heart trying to get, all this, school stuff done, which is, just ridiculous. Never works out for me, ever. But, I mean, yeah. It's just unfortunate. I'm trying to think of another example of sometimes that people just don't want to spend time with me. But the fact that I can't think of any right... Like, it's not uncommon for, like, people in my theater to, like, go do stuff after shows. And, like, I usually don't go. I've gone a few times. I've probably gone, like, I'd say, like, I'll go to every one out of three things. And, like, anytime I'm not there, you know, even my best friend is like, you know, nobody ever asks about me. No one's ever like, oh, you know, right? Nobody. God damn it. Damn it. I just said my actual name, so I'm just gonna add a sound effect over it. Ha ha ha. So it was like, what? Yeah, yikes. No one's ever like, you know, where's Andrew? No one's ever just like, you know, where is he? No one cares, right? And it sucks. You know, it's just, it is what it is, right? I'm pretty sure my damn therapist doesn't even listen to me anymore. Because I say Higgins in my daily vocabulary. And normally whenever I say Higgins, people are just like, oh, what does that mean? I said Higgins to my therapist, and my therapist just didn't even care. Like, the conversations that I have with my therapist are so dry. And, you know, my friend, the same friend I went to the mall with, was like, you need to be more open with your therapist. You need to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that because I want to get out of therapy. Because it's stupid. Like, I don't want to be here. You know, I would rather, you know, just disclose my thoughts on the internet for people to see. And, you know, I'm not really worried about people from my personal life finding out about this YouTube channel. Because, like, people will have, like, OnlyFans. You know, they'll have, like, OnlyFans. And, you know, people can just hide it and nobody notices. So if some people can literally sell, like, nude pictures themselves online, then I can have a YouTube channel where I just talk about my feelings. And you know, I'm not expecting this channel to keep doing well. Nobody watches these videos. And I guarantee you the people that like would watch these videos don't have anyone to share them with. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make a jab at you, the listener, but you know, I'm just being realistic. I say to the listener as if there is a listener, but I mean, there's not.